What else are you missing out on? When most people start smoking weed, it's to have fun, to chill, and relax with friends. Then we all grow up, we move out, we get jobs, responsibilities, and we start dating. Anxiety and social anxiety are very real and potent for some, just like depression, anger, and other uncomfortable emotions. But when we use weed to escape those parts of ourselves, that inner relationship, we often miss opportunities to grow and mature in many different areas of our life. Those are the moments that you gain new insights and tools going forward in your life to where you're able to better handle those same themes presenting themselves again in the future. Those painful times tend to act as fuel for our self-improvement, especially when you're somebody that's sober. And that is where some people find new ways to better themselves and their situation so they can prevent those issues from arising again. But when one turns to marijuana instead and does this for years, those difficult and troublesome times, emotions, and occurrences keep happening. Because let's face it, life keeps happening. And they try and ignore it through weed consumption. And in return, this stunts themselves and their maturity, missing out on ample opportunities to change themselves and their life for the better. And that affects their future, their jobs, relationships, opportunities, responsibilities, and inner development going forward. And so as life continues, as always it's going to, and there's a death in the family, or you experience a breakup, or your job ends up laying off a third shift, or you end up finding that your car breaks down, or that you're struggling in some way. Usually, if you were sober in your younger years, you've already developed a lot of different ways to handle situations like that. And so you may seem more poised or more relaxed in those situations to where even other people might say, man, I wish I could react like you do to those things in life. I definitely would not have handled that as well as you. And really what that person's saying is that they either lack some kind of maturity in their life or they lack some kind of self-regulation. And that's where they would be overstimulated by something that they view as inconvenient in their life happening. Now, as you move forward in your life, the next 5-10 years, if you're continuously choosing to pick marijuana rather than to sit in those uncomfortable times and maybe even more meditate on what it is that you're doing that has these things continuously happening, then nothing's really going to change. If everyone you've ever dated was a crazy narcissistic ex, well, chances are there's a degree of an issue within inside yourself that you're attracting these kinds of people into your life. There's an age-old saying that birds of a feather flock together. And now I'm not saying that a narcissist necessarily attracts a narcissist, and yes, that can happen. But what I am saying is that narcissistic people really only succeed for the most part with people that are very unhealthy because they're easier to control, easier to manipulate. And so if you're missing those timestamps in your life to where you could actually be improving upon your inner development, you're going to be more gullible. You're going to miss out on these wisdom type events in your life to where you would have a better scope of what to avoid and what to move closer to. And that doesn't have to just go for relationships. It can go for jobs even. If you've had jobs and you just hate every job that you've ever been on, even just being present with yourself, asking those quality questions of like, okay, well, what is it exactly that I'm doing in my personal life that I'm, if anything, paying more into to just enjoy? Could that be something that I love doing? Is that something that I could niche down or market down to where I could actually end up offering a product or where I could offer a service? Is this something that I would see myself doing 5, 10, 15 years from now? And if you're already spending money out of your own pocket to enjoy certain things that you do on your free time, then that might actually be your mission in this world to aid and help others improve their lives as well. So really that's all life is life is a progression to where we stumble, we fall, we go through our bumps and bruises. But because of that, if you remain sober and vigilant, you'll start to get little insights, little ideas that come to mind, or even conversations with other people that help you go internal. It makes you contemplate, well, maybe if I approach that situation differently in the future, that might change those kind of outcomes. And then in the future, you might find that those adjustments that you've made not only in yourself, but even your approach or standards in life actually provided some benefit to you. And so those things tend to stack just as much as when you escape your life, those things tend to stack as well. You know, if you're trying to not think of a purple elephant, don't imagine a purple elephant, your mind's going to come up with an image. It may have a sound to it, it may be in color, but you, again, can try to not think of a purple elephant, yet there it is, a purple elephant. So if you try to escape your life and not feel something, to not experience something at its fullest, you're still going to on some level. You know, when you smoke, you still got to come down. And then you have to deal with withdrawals that will dysregulate your emotions. It affects your testosterone levels, especially if you're a man and you're mid to upper 30s. And that's already something that's going to start affecting you as you age. So there's a lot of consequences to escaping through some kind of substance in life. And if you don't really take a look at why you're doing that, you're not really going to change your life to much of a degree at all. It's not going to be very recognizable in the next 5 or 10 years. But if you've tried to quit and you've struggled and you find yourself being sober for a couple of months, a year, 2 years, but then you relapse and you come back even harder and stronger and you smoke way more than you did the last time, well, chances are this is not only an addiction, but the addiction is just the mask. It's the cover to a much deeper issue. Your system is addicted to this as a solution because you have not gained those inner connections needed to be able to handle or perceive that you can even handle challenges in your life. So if this is something that you're struggling with, reach out to me. I could definitely help you with this, especially if you're wanting to change this for yourself. Take care of yourself.